My name is Alex Moultanovsky, or if you wish, Dr. Moultanovsky. And I was born in, right now I'm talking about in Ukraine, but basically, of course, I was born in Soviet Union, which country doesn't exist anymore. And I live until my 40s. And there I got all my education. I graduated my master's degree from there is like second largest city in Ukraine, which is called Kharkov, which is huge industrial and scientific and cultural center. It's second after Kiev, which is basically capital, but in terms of industry, in terms of universities, it's probably first. And my master's degree, it's interesting. My master's degree, it's related to completely different area of business. I graduated from Kharkov Polytechnical University, and specialty dynamic of spacecraft in, so I basically rocket science. And for instance, my master's degree thesis was control of spacecraft on passive trajectory in the space. And of course, I participate in lots of launches, mostly military, and you definitely know where those military rocket was targeted to. And after I graduated, I work in that area of the spacecraft and area of the military. But then, to be honest, I tired of or fed up of those top secret, and I switched to thermodynamic because this is my first degree. My first degree was, as I said, control of spacecraft. But my second degree was applied mathematics. So I can say took my mathematics and switched to thermodynamic or heat transfer. And my doctorate degree was in heat transfer and thermodynamics, specifically in the area of inverse problem of heat transfer. I create lots of different methodology and wrote lots of articles. I have about a couple hundred articles, scientific article in area of heat transfer. Back in Ukraine, it's more to heat transfer different area, heat transfer on industrial power plants, on metallurgy, whatever call it. It's lots of application where apply the mathematical methods of heat transfer relate to different industry. That's my background in terms of master's degree and my doctorate degree. It was in Ukraine, or that time on Soviet Union. In 1991, I participated in lots of different conferences, mostly related to heat transfer. And because of to be honest, I didn't speak any English that time, but I still had lots of articles in English because it's been translated and published not only in Russian, Ukrainian scientific journals, but also in worldwide journals. So engineer or scientific society knew my work, knew my accomplishment, and I participate not only inside the Soviet Union, inside the former Soviet Union or Ukraine. I participate in some conferences in Poland, Czechoslovakia at that time, Yugoslavia. And what's happened when we had some conference in Russia, Lots of scientists from United States been participate, who also even that time knew my work. And back in '91, they invited me to participate in conference in East Lansing, Michigan. And it's funny because at that time, it still was Soviet Union. Rubles wasn't convertible, so I cannot come here because I didn't have money. So East Lansing University paid for everything, my participation, my stay, and I got visitor visa or visa for conference for 3 days. So when I got Lansing, look around, and I decided that's where I have to stay. So somebody, some professor of that university gave me $100 to extend my 3 days visa. It's been extended, and I applied for political asylum. It took time. Start taking some classes in English. Even I can pay for that, but lots of people helped me when, for instance, when I got to the, it was Cleveland, by the way, Cleveland Community College, and somehow able to explain chief of English second language department who I am, what, and he said he can get to my classes for free. And I work in anywhere I could. Means I work as a dishwasher, I work as a painter, I work as a, so I work, to begin with, I work anywhere I can get who can hire me for cash, because I didn't have even work permit. So I work, as I said, as dishwasher and nursing aide, but when I applied to political asylum, I got temporary work permit, and as I mentioned, start learning English, whatever I could do, and start gradually to translate my knowledge from Russian to English. That time I work, as I said, as dishwasher or nursing aide or whatever, just to pay the bills. Start when learn a bit English, start looking for a job. It was 1991 when was collapse of Soviet Union, and that's why I was able to get my political asylum status pretty fast using some immigration attorney. Another friend borrowed me another money, which I returned later on, but that start process, and I got my political asylum, my green card, whatever. So to make that long story short, I was looking for different area of job. I even passed some actuary exams because I have great knowledge of mathematics. Start looking for in universities in area of actuary, theory of probability, risk theory, and everything relate. That's mostly for insurance. But happened that first job I got as a senior engineer in Valeo climate control in Detroit. So that's I start, and it's happened to be an area of air condition, heating air condition. Back in Ukraine, I never seen any air conditioning system because no any Soviet type vehicles equipped with air conditioning. Heaters, yes, but no any air conditioning. So first air conditioning system I saw, it was in Valeo. I know cycle Carnot, I know reverse cycle Carnot, I know how air conditioning work from theoretical point of view, but again, I never seen it. So I started working there as a senior test and development engineer, learning how to test systems. They had colorimeter, they had chamber. That's how I started to work. And after 2 years working there, I was happy to do what I was doing, happy to work in that area, but my resume somehow flying somewhere because I sent lots of resume when looking for a job, and when I found that job in Valeo, it was 1990, early 96, so 5 years I was learning English from 91 to 96, looking for a job, especially it was kind of recession time. So after 2 years working, even all of a sudden, because I didn't look for a job, I was offered a position as a test and develop manager at Bergstrom. That position now L. Leopold has. I did it from 98 to 2002, 5 years. So that's what I did, managing all testing facility, calorimeters, life cycle testing, chamber, everything. Under my supervision, Bergstrom chamber was upgraded significantly. We got new software. We built lots of systems like different air measuring systems, some life cycle system over there. Also, in addition, I work as a director of business development Eastern Europe because of my knowledge of Eastern European business, even not only Ukrainian, Russian, but in some Poland, Czech. I just been there looking for Belarus. I was on all those plants, tractor plants, truck plants, different type of vehicle looking for. Some system being proposed, some we supply, for instance, Kharkov tractor plants, huge tractor plants. We provide them we, as I said at this point, Bergstrom. Another city, Kramatorsk in Ukraine, we provide for big truck system. I was already on a top position for Bergstrom and start looking for some advance because I think for Bergstrom I already been on a top which I could do. And I've been offered a position as a general manager at ACC Climate Control in Elkhart, Indiana. It was that time small company, probably maybe $4 million. But it was part of big conglomerate owned by investment company. All relate to automotive, but all other parts been mostly for metal fabrication. And you know that investment companies, they keep company for 3, 4, 5 years. Then when it's become larger, they sell it. That's what happened back in 2004. They decide to sell. But this part of company, ACC Climate Control, or that time we call MFAP, because mostly like fabrication, climate control, as I said, relate to metal fabrication. This part, they didn't know what to do with this part of the company. So when I talked to CEO of that company and asked what they have planned to do, they said, we probably maybe even close this company. So I talked to my management of ACC Climate Control, and we decided to buy this company. It was small company, and we found major investor who used to own this company a long time ago. Then he sold it to that investment company. And four of us, which is management, me and purchasing manager and sales manager and production manager. So we bought this company, ACC Climate Control. As I said, it was about $3-4 million sales company, small. We made lots of innovation. We made lots of different system. Basically, what's happened, I got through all range of air conditioning, because when I work for Valeo, we work on passenger cars and van, mostly for Chrysler, Ford, some GM. When I joined Bergstrom, we work on heavy duty on and off highway. Navistar, Peterbilt, Freightliner, Caterpillar, John Deere, just name it. When I became part of ACC climate control, it was mostly specialty vehicles. It was ambulances, it was buses, it was cabs, just cabs for different area, fire trucks, and so on and so forth. So basically, on my career with in air conditioning, heating air conditioning industry, I got knowledge of all possible applications. So to finish with my that professional career, within 10 years from 2004 till 2014-15, we work, small company. We make decision like this. We decided we do. For instance, new system from concept to production, it took not more than 6 months. So we because we're small and we made it fast, so we made lots of different systems. For instance, first industry secondary loop system we made long before GM or Delphi or whoever. We built secondary loop system. It was based on R22 refrigerant, then switched to R47C or 410A, I don't remember which one, but mostly R22. But it was secondary loop, and we made, I don't remember how many, but lots of those systems for ambulances. Back probably 2006, 2007. Then we built electrical system for hybrid buses. At that time, Eaton make power management for hybrid buses. And only Eaton approved air conditioning system was ACC. Even for, you should remember, back in 2011 or 2012, I made a presentation with Eaton guy. I make presentation in Max for electrical system for hybrid buses. We were a very, very, very innovative company. As I said, secondary loop, brushless, different electrical system, which nobody in the industry had. Being so innovative, we were able, within 10 years, make company from $3-4 million to $35 million. And that time, back in 2015, big German company, Spheros, they big company, about probably $3-4 million company, but all over but US. They had small office in Detroit area, but they cannot get in market because that bus market and specialty vehicles market is very, very conservative. They working with whoever they know. So Spheros worked few years, tried to expand, couldn't. So they decided to buy ACC. So we, as a management team, we sold ACC to Spheros. It became ACC, which is Automotive Climate Control, Spheros branch. So I became, and at that time, what we done, I was, as I mentioned, I was general manager, then became, when we bought company, I became vice president because we decided that company, especially a small company, has to be driven by sales. So my sales manager, Casey Cummins, you know this name, especially his dad, Ori Cummins. He was one of the first pioneer in Max. Casey worked for his father since his 15 years. So he started working as a young guy and continues. So he has great knowledge in air conditioning, plus he's excellent salesman. So we switch. He became president, I became vice president. Before he was working for me, then I started working for him, which is fine with me. Because my major target was future company, innovative, because of my knowledge of heating, air conditioning, and thermodynamic. I was working on future company innovations. So as I mentioned, back in 2015, Spheros bought ACC, and we became part of Spheros. But funny that year from that time, from I believe January 2015, or no, March 2015 till January 2016, Valeo bought Spheros. Circle locked. I became again part of Valeo. I even remember Christoph Petitjean called me and said, "Alex, welcome back." Okay, I'm sitting where I'm sitting. Back in 96, 97. He was in France, but I visited Liberia. I was working, I worked for him, not directly for him, but yes. Yeah. So that's I became part of Valeo. And in September, it was January, and in September 2016, I decided enough to be direct employee. I switched to consulting for ACC Valeo, consulting from different company who need. There is like lots of kind of middle company who bring together expert and whoever needed. And sometimes I'm working like a getting call, need people from somewhere. One time was from Finland, I remember Finland, one time from Japan. They need to know what the state of market, air conditioning market in buses, for instance. Buses, what the innovation or what the target, where it's going to. So I get a phone interview, phone consultation. So that's my professional way of air conditioning. I became part of SAE, even worked for Valeo back in 96 or 7, I don't remember exactly, but I already time ago got award from them for 20 years being member. So probably 1996. Also part of ASME, different society, but for SAE was, and I started working in different committees. That time, the oldest one first, it was off-highway, that it called Subcommittee 6. For off-highway, I was probably with L. Leopold, the oldest member of that committee. Then I became part of it called Climate Control and Windshield for trucks. That's another committee. And there I start also because ICCC, which is SAE most valuable committee for air conditioning, basically for passenger. I start working with them, being mostly liaison between heavy duty and those, because all those standards sooner or later not became part of heavy duty, but based on that, doing some heavy duty standards for SAE. I part of TMC and MAX probably about 15 years. Actually, MAX, I have my 25 years, but because of a company was, ACC was part of MAX since 1993. So that's what on my tag when I get into the MAX events. But TMC, TMC, it's about 15 years, probably around 2003, something like this, when I already been part of ACC climate control. And I just, first time I got to TMC just to see what they're doing, and it was guy, last name ST, I don't remember what company he is from. He worked on those, couple more guys was helping, and I start help them to do RP, recommended practice, and that's what those standards call for TMC. And those reason I decided to do, because working for SAE, for heavy duty, for trucks and off-highway, different standards, and similar standards was also for TMC. But most of them doesn't comply to each other. Sometimes small difference, sometimes even big difference in terms of what's the criteria of this testing, what's the best way to explain how parts working. And I was start getting working for I believe it's still early for Bergstrom. I was getting questions from OEM, mostly for OEM guys. What we have to follow? RPs, TMC, or SAE. Also getting question from fleets, because they also have trucks or have specialty vehicles. Sometimes test and sometimes try to get new system and test it what it should be. And that's the reason I became part of TMC, specifically S4, which is cabin control, and start working to bring together SAE and TMCRP to comply each other. So since back to, as I said, about 15, 16 years, all RP, I sponsor it. It's about, as I mentioned already, about probably 12, and they all comply with SAE. For instance, RP 418 and 414, which is cabin air conditioning criteria and parts, and relate to 26 SAE 2646 or SAE 1487, which is different, but they are now have same criteria. Like when you start download, it's same time to soak, and same criteria to cool down or warm up if it's heating too. So that's, but in some way TMC became, at least compared to truck SAE committee, became more innovative. Some new RPs exist which SAE doesn't have similar. For instance, I create specific two RPs, which is engine off for truck with a slipper and truck without slipper, criteria for HVAC system, mostly electrical with engine off. Then, and later on, I introduced that topic to SAE, and appropriate SAE standard was created. But another one, air conditioning system for air conditioned electrical system for conventional, hybrid, and electrical truck, it's only existed this time as a RP for TMC. That's the reason, working on that, I got Silver Spark Award, which is highest for TMC. Working max, probably with the exception of last couple years, I always had a presentation on heavy duty on max, almost every year, and sometimes just myself, sometimes I bring some industry guys or ladies. For instance, as I said, back in 2011 or 2012, I made presentation with Eaton, electrified system for buses. But 2 years ago, in vice versa also worked. 2 years ago, on TMC, on that S4 task force, addition to actual task force where we're working on RP, we have also mini symposium. And 2015, I believe, Mary Coban and me, we made presentation for TMC. We talk about air conditioning system based on new refrigerant because they were interested, and we made that symposium for TMC. Addition to my, as I mentioned, I have probably a couple hundred and maybe 2-3 books in thermodynamics. I have also some article in air conditioning system for, I presented on SAE, heavy duty, or not only heavy duty, just different topics on SAE in World Congress they published. And back in 2007, whatever industry, they decided to make an encyclopedia. It's called Engineering, Technology, and Maintenance. They somehow found me, asked if I would like to write down article for that encyclopedia, and I create 2 articles, which is a part of those encyclopedia 2007, and 2013 they made 2nd edition and asked me if there is something new on industry, and of course there is like electrical system, new refrigerants, so on and so forth. So I create another article for that encyclopedia. It's worldwide encyclopedia. It exists in printed and it exists in digital. Article in somewhere in Amazon, I saw them. My books mostly in Russian, so it's not translated. But it's area not related to air conditioning. It's area of inverse heat transfer problem, which is mostly heat transfer. Yeah. When I started to work for Valeo, it was guys probably my age. His name was Denis Zuk. And we just discussed, it's interesting, we discussed, first of all, when we've been young, we knew about, for instance, Caribbean crisis. We was young, like I was 10 years old, but we knew it from parents. Guys, American knew it from here. I knew it being in the Soviet Union. And that time, we never expected to live until 2000 because of that crisis and all that tension between 2 countries. And we never, ever expect to work as one team. It was amazing when we started to work as one team. Russian guys, American guys, exchange our memories, which is in many ways similar, and start work together as one team. I had Soviet, but when I came here, decided to stay. About 3 years, I was a man without a country, because they revoked my citizenship immediately when I didn't return back. I was man without a country until I got asylum, then I got green card, and back in 1998, I got my citizenship. I'm afraid to get back to, even to Ukraine, even it was different country, but my friends told me, country different, people the same. Yeah. When you don't have your United States roof, means citizenship, don't go. When I got my citizenship, I didn't have problem. I was there a few times, of course. It's very, very tight with guys who we graduated from university. Every 5 years we have reunion, we come in together. This is very old university. It's about 135 years old. Originally it was technological university. Then became Polytechnic University. They made huge book in anniversary of 130 years about that university when it's been still in before 1917 and later on. And it's interesting that most advanced former student, they offer page to explain who are you, what you achieve, and in that huge book there is my name, and there is some article about me. Kharkov, second, as I said, second largest industrial and probably first largest industrial and cultural, but second largest city in Ukraine after Kyiv. When I see Steve Anderson, he always said, Alex, you have to write book whatever happened with you. I said, yeah. But the point is, it's only this country you can come that way from nobody and became like vice president of the company. That's why when I said I love this country and native, I mean not native, Native American, but American like you, saying I also love this country, but I said, I know why I love this country, because I have something to compare with. I like fishing. For instance, I will have picture. I fish mostly in lakes, not in some great lakes, but small. But last year I planned to do this. It's only like short period of time from February to April. There is big fish called paddlefish, which is a cousin of sturgeon. And in Kentucky, in the Ohio River, I caught that paddlefish 5 feet 3 inches and 50 pounds. And it was about 4 pounds of black caviar in it. And when I was this year, we just got trip in Hawaii, and I got a fishing trip in boat. And guy said, make sure not necessarily you can catch something, because it's 50-50. But if you caught even one would be perfect, because not too many people doing. So I said, no, I'm lucky. So I caught big tuna, 120 pounds, and blue marlin, 150 pounds. Of course I couldn't take it because it was cruise. So those guys who I paid to get that trip, they got it and sold for big money in local restaurant. But that's, so basically fishing I like. People asking me, are you golfing? I said no, because at the same time consuming as fishing. So I'm fishing. I collected old coins. I like that also. I have from Russia, I have ancient coins, different, some American coins. Yeah, I like that too. I like reading different fiction, non-fiction. We have about 5,000-6,000 books, not counting my industrial or scientific books. All that history of air conditioning I include in those encyclopedia, all those 3 articles. Include all air conditioning history back from 1950 when it first air conditioning, and then all that parts, innovation. It's interesting. Too many of those for passenger vehicles, which is not necessary to be truck and off-highway, have more combined in one standards, lots of different things. Not like ICCC, they have each topic. So over there, same like here, it's more combined, referring to those. Right now I participate in MAX and SAE and TMC for my own, because I feel lots of knowledge I have, lots of different area which I can share my knowledge. So I just hate not to do it, even as I said, I do it for my own. Thanks to MAX and TMC, they at least cover my participation. For truck, buses, and similar, I strongly believe it will become electrified, even for conventional vehicles. Proof of that system we created, electrical system for, we call it hybrid system for conventional vehicles. Lots of benefit. To begin with, as a source of power, we use engine-driven generator, which give us 10, 12 kilowatt power. What you, in conventional vehicles, when you're doing a pull-down test, for truck, for buses, you have to run it at high idle, at least 1,500 RPM. Electrical system, that generator, and we have proven it because we tested it, that generator gives stable 9 to 10 kilowatt from curb idle up to running mode. So you eliminate high idle. Just good example, Ford 6-liter, high idle, 3.5 or 4 gallon per hour, curb idle, less than gallon. You see economy? It's a little bit less economy in diesel, but still significant. You eliminate major source of fail on air conditioning system because of shaft, because of leakage, because no way for hermetic compressor. I can give you a good example. One of the, that time Copeland, then it's Emerson compressor. We put it on a bus. It ran about 100,000 miles, and system failed. And fleet told us, oh, your system failed, it's because of compressor. We took that compressor, sent it back to Emerson. They cut it off and said, 90+% life, it's silly. It was system failed because of power, problem with power. So that's another. So compressor with hermetic electrical scroll compressor, not anymore major source of fail. On buses, when it's engine-driven compressor, we could have up to back and forth probably 60, 80 feet of the hoses. permeation, and so on and so forth. When it's electrical, we try to put compressor as close as possible. If it's self-contained system, to the system, even we put it on a frame versus rooftop, for instance. So just short line. Or if it's split system, close to one of the components, condenser or evaporator. So eliminate huge line and routing. That's just three major advantages. So I'm positive that future it's electrical system, even for a conventional vehicle. I don't believe that all vehicles will become electrical. Let's even take Caterpillar. They doing their own electrical system. They happy with that. Again, it's not from a theoretical point of view. It's from my actual testing. When you exactly say same system, I mean same system, evaporator, condenser, all parts, electrical compressor versus engine-driven, assuming that evaporator condenser has a high enough capacity. Same system, up to 20 to 30% more capacity with electrical. Because I just mentioned during my test work, there is no oil. What oil doing? It's when oil running inside the system, not in compressor, but inside the evaporator, condenser hoses. It's making kind of layer between refrigerant and inside tubing or inside microchannel. Because of that layer, heat transfer become much lower if working without oil. So that's increased capacity. That's another advantage of the electrical system with hermetic compressor. And that's what one of my presentation to Max, by the way, when it was electrical compressor versus engine-driven compressor. The best TM21 compressor ratio, which is energy versus cooling capacity. It's about maximum probably 2.5, 3. For larger compressor like TM65, TM55, it's up to 4. Versus same system for electrical, it's up to 7. So I mean cooling capacity versus power. That's another advantage of electrical system. It's more expensive, no doubt. But even with that, for buses, we calculated, even with right now not too high cost of the gas or compared to a few years ago, it's still ROI from 1 to 3 years. And life of school bus, it's at least 10 years. Life of shuttle bus, probably 5 to 7, 8 years, depends on using. So it's ROI work. Maintenance, much less maintenance. Plus, not only air conditioning. When you don't have all those engine-driven compressor, you save engine maintenance. What trucks doing right now? They have system for idle, no idle, means on the when it's on the parking, and system while running. It's two systems. With that electrified, which we made for Navistar for phase 1, it's same system, either running or parking. And that one compressor electric can run bank system, if it's slipper, and front system. 12 volts, even 24 volts, doesn't work. But again, I strongly believe that industry, truck industry, coming to 48 volts. Back in 12, 15 years, Truck industry even talk about first 24, they for any reason decided 42, then it's shut off. But now they definitely working for 48 volts. Even on task force there is some task force which toward 48 volts. I think it's gonna be that way.